Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topic series. Today we're going to be looking at a hot topic which is, give me a second here. Ooh, lost my page. There we go. We're going to be talking about a hot topic which we're going to look at from many different points of view. The paradoxes of wearable technology. So, as you know, Silicon Valley invests and is looking for places to invest to create more and more wearable devices. In some cases, these can be very helpful in our everyday lives, but many people argue that they're not exactly catching on the way we might have expected, and there could be many reasons for that. So we'll look at some of the reasons for and against different types of wearable technologies, and we'll look at some more controversial issues, some suggestions, for example, about what maybe law enforcement should be using in terms of wearables, what we think about that. So that's a bit about the class. More about that in a moment. First, a bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new words that we're learning when you are speaking so I can correct you and give you feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a little bit about me. Now I want to know a little bit about you. So I'm going to share with you the material that I prepared. Give me just a second here. Okay, so when you get it open, you'll see this graphic and you know you're in the right place. So let's get started, with or without everyone. Hello, Ade, how are you?
Hello, teacher. Hello, John.
Teacher?
Yes.
No more teacher.
Yeah, I
We're
will
all
say.
equals here.
Yeah.
um, it's awfully quiet out there today. What's going on? Where is everyone?
I do know. I don't know.
Me neither. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Everybody busy today.
maybe it's Friday. I don't know. um, well, originally I called the class Smart Clothes, but actually I wanted to talk about more than just the fashion, more than just the accessories. I'd like to look at the issue from many different points of view. So I just changed the name of the class to Smart Clothes and Paradoxes of Wearable Technology. And instead of talking about the trends, I want to actually look at some of the issues that may come up with it. So let's start over here. Give me a second to get the material looking the right way. Oops, this needs to be on its own page. There we go. So we're going to start this warm-up on page 5. First of all, do you know about Google Glass?
Yes, I know about Google Class.
Hmm. Have you have you have you seen it up close? Have you tried it?
No, I never tried it. I only see it on the on web, on the advertisings. Yeah, but
And what about you, Shell? Have you, Shell? Are you wearing headphones? Hello, Shell. Hello, Shell. Are you there? Hello, hello. We can't hear you, Shell. I can hear my own voice in an echo, but I can't hear you. So maybe you need to adjust your microphone or see if it's plugged in okay. And make sure that you're using headphones because I'm hearing my voice. So that means I'm hearing the speakers of your computer. Okay? All right. Okay. No problem. So maybe Shell will be reconnecting in just a minute. So Adi, what do you think about Google Glass? Do you think it's useful? Do,
Uh, I don't think it's useful for people who doesn't who who don't speak English very well because everything's are um, command by a voice. So I mean, if my tongue is not fluent enough in speaking English, I can't. It it might be useful for using Google Glass.
hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know a whole lot about what they're doing, but so you're saying that right now there's no way to use your native language in Google Glass. All the windows are operated through voice.
Yeah, I need to voice and some I use voice command. How do I say voice? Can I say
Voice
voice
rec
command?
voice
Yeah,
yeah, voice recognition maybe.
yeah. Saying so sometimes it doesn't work on my phone because they don't type correctly because I about my it's my pronunciation issue.
Mhm.
So I think that's the same with Google Glass. We cannot type. I don't know. Is it can type or not? But um, the most interesting to use Google Glass is because you can easily just giving a command, okay Google, and then everything's are appear. So I think that's uh, the main the main um, the main benefit from to using Google Glass. But I'm not fluent enough in speaking English, so I can
Hmm.
use good benefit from the Google Glass.
Um, so they need to localize, we say. They need to localize the product. In other words, there should be a way for people to use it in their native language. Otherwise, I'm really surprised to hear that actually. Um,
Yeah,
unless they get some kind of software that can recognize accents, but it's which you can do. It's just you have to train the software, and I don't know how good it would be. Hmm. Um, well, I have another warm-up question for you as well. I don't know what happened to Shell. She said she was going to reconnect. Oh, look, there's Shadow. There we go. 2 out of 9 isn't bad. Hopefully, everyone's on vacation or something. I don't know what's going on. Um, so, we were just starting to talk about the paradoxes of wearable technology, Shadow, and we were talking a little bit about Google Glass. Have you heard anything about Google Glass? Do you know what it is, Shadow?
No, um, I don't.
So, Adi, can you give her just a kind of a little summary of it? What does she need to know?
uh, have you ever know about we wear the Google Glass is just like glasses just like glasses and our eye. We- but it can comments everything to a Google Glass, so we can search everything. They can they can give us information about the weather today, about the maps and
H-
everything.
How do
It's
you how do
informal.
you how do you get access to the information? Because if no one's ever seen it before, what do you mean? You have to carry around a computer with you? What do you mean?
No, no. It means that we just wear glasses and it's
Glasses, okay?
integrated. yeah, it's integrated to internet and can be used to communicate for communication.
And where do you see the information? Through the glasses? You see it in the screen? Like the glasses are like a screen?
It can be through the glasses, but it can be also through another wall. We use a wall or a glass window
So not only through the glasses? I'm a little confused. When you say another wall, what do you mean a wall?
because because I did ever see that it can reflect to it can reflect to not to the wall. I mean to a window, glasses window, glass window.
So now I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm also confused to say it.
So, because I thought that you would put on the glasses and you would see the information on, like through the lenses of the glass. You would see it
Yeah.
like as if you're looking through a computer screen. But you're telling me that it's not only through the glasses. You mean it's through another surface outside of the glasses?
Yeah, I think we used to another surface like a window. It's a real window,
Really?
window. Yeah, a real window glasses. No, not glasses.
Glass.
Um, glass window is like a curtain wall or something.
And you would see it like information on a screen.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know about that. So the point
I
is,
think yeah.
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I think yeah, it can be.
Hmm.
I think
So
Google Class application are free application built by third-party developers. So it is differ from uh, Windows that we have used to. So I mean the interface is a little different from
from
that are used to that from which we are used to
but
use.
my confusion is the interface in the lens of the glasses or is the interface
I mean the software applications
the software? Oh,
used
okay.
in Google Glass.
Right.
So special application is special application needed to use Google Glasses.
And
So
what do they do for you? What do you know about them? What do they do? Why might they be useful?
it is useful because you can't use your hands to operate to indicate something uh, to your computer. And it also useful when you are doing something with your hand. So, for example, you are working in the warehouse. Yeah, you have to always carry something from one place to another place. Yeah, it's a quite heavy work. So in this case, it is very uh, annoying to typing computer to type computer in separately. Sorry, to use notebook or so in this case, wearing these glasses, uh, and and you can see computer screen at the same time you see when you see with your glasses, you can also see the computer screen. So computer screen is captured. Computer screen is how to say.
You see through it, in other words.
Through it, yeah.
There you go. So you
Yes.
see through the computer screen.
Yeah.
Um, Shell, do you wear glasses? Because in the picture, it looks like you're wearing glasses.
I do. I do wear glasses.
Would it be distracting for you to see through a computer screen? Do you think that would be difficult to work like that?
Not at all. It's just that when it comes to Google Glass, it well when one is moving and he's active and he doesn't have time to put up a tablet or a phone. So I
Mhm.
think that's the purpose of the Google Glass.
So that's the purpose, but I'm saying, because I don't wear glasses, so I don't know, but would it be difficult to do your work? And I know what Yuki's saying about, you keep your hands free, but would it be distracting? Don't you think it would be distracting?
When the details are on the frame itself, I
Hmm.
think it will be distracting for me because it's the images will be too close, and I don't think I could focus on two things at the same time.
Hmm.
I
You're in the
I
you're in
really
the
don't. Yeah.
you're in the Philippines, aren't you?
Yes.
I remember you. I haven't seen you in like a year. It's been a long
A
time,
year.
hasn't it?
That's just 2 weeks.
Oh, you were here 2 weeks ago? No, I don't remember that. 2 weeks ago? No, I remember you used to come a lot and then you disappeared for a while. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I started verbling two
A long.
months ago.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm getting you confused with someone else. Never mind. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
Hmm.
okay. And have any of you heard of augmented reality? Augmented reality. Sound familiar?
Nope.
Nope. Imagine this. Shadow, imagine this. You are a lawyer. You're in the courtroom wearing your Google Glass, and you want to know a little bit about, I don't know, the jury, or you want to know about someone who's on the stand. So let's imagine it's a trial. You look at the person, and as you look at them, you use facial recognition to search the internet and pull up details like their Facebook page or their LinkedIn profile, and you get a sense of who they are. So that is just a quick example of augmented reality. In other words, seeing what is invisible. The information is out there, but instead of having to look for it, it'll be there. And in fact, the idea is that buildings could have special tags on them so that certain information would become visible to you. But I'm using that example for the courtroom. Uh, so do you think that augmented reality would make Google Glass a worthwhile thing? Do you think that would help you in your work?
Teacher, no one will know that I'm using Google Glass. And
How could they know? They can't see through your eyes.
also, I can use it in the exam, for example.
Absolutely.
Really? Oh my God. I like this.
Augmented reality means that the information you would normally search for would appear on the screen. So as you're looking at things, there might be smart tags that the Google Glass recognizes or whatever. And it doesn't have to be only Google Glass. It could be really anything. I've seen applications where you can hold up your tablet to a sign in Chinese, and through the camera of the tablet, you'll see it written in English in real time. Um, so that's a little bit different, but same idea. Seeing information that's normally invisible. So, um, okay, what I want to do is talk about the paradoxes before we get into um, the fashion or the controversies. So I added where's my table of contents? I added an article just before class that we're not going to read the whole thing, but if we look at part of it, I think it summarizes some of the positives and negatives about the new technology, Google Glass and others. So let's jump down to, whoops, that's not where it's supposed to be. Sorry, clicked the wrong link. Let's jump down to Article 2 first, and we're going to read some parts of it, not all of it. The paradoxes of wearable technology. Can devices like Google Glass augment our activities without distracting us from the physical world? Because that seems to be one of the issues. Can you imagine everyone driving using Google Glass? It's already bad enough that people are texting and driving. Can you imagine if everyone could just look through the glasses? It seems to me that it would be a scary situation. I don't know. So this is from last year, but I think it's still worthwhile. What's that? It's on page 2? What's on page 2?
The article that you mean you just edit before the class,
It's on page 9.
page 9.
Yeah,
Okay.
the table of contents is on page 2, I think, and you click on it,
Okay.
and it brings it on page 9.
Okay.
While you're here, Adi, what do you think that graphic is trying to tell us? What do you think that picture is trying to tell us about?
About the bad habit for using the phone everywhere, even though um we are on the street, and then it could be a disaster for us because we don't know there is a big hole in front of us because we are too focused on our phone. I think that's the picture sets, the graphic sets.
Exactly. So you're paying attention to everything except where you're going. Well, let's find out about one person who is involved with Apple intimately and knows quite a lot about the technology. So why don't you start us off? We're not going to read everything, but let's pick a few paragraphs, and I'll try to pick out the argument that he's making. So why don't you start us off in the beginning, Adi? The bottom of page 9.
Okay. Ever talk to someone at a party or conference receptions only to discover that he or she is constantly scanning the room, looking this way and that, perhaps finding you boring, perhaps looking for someone more important? Does the person realize that you notice? Welcome to the new world of wearable computers, where we will treat uneasy as we risk continual distraction, continual diversions of attentions, and continual blank stares in hopes of achieving
Achieving.
focus, achieving focus, attention, continual enhancement, and better interaction, understanding, and retention. Google's latest hardware toy, Glass, which has received a lot of attention, is only the beginning of this challenge.
Okay, very good. So he's saying that this is going to be the new reality. Or at least at the time of the article, it seemed like this was going to be the new reality. Um, what are some of the things that Google Glass promises, Adi? In your own words, what are some of the things that Google Glass promises to us, or this technology promises?
It it's easily to use, and then we can keep pay attention to other to surround us, even though we are um we are pay attention to our gadget too. I think like it's that
Mhm.
kind of that.
And also,
Yeah.
besides just enhancement, which means getting more information,
Hmm.
notice it also has retention. How many times have you been somewhere and got an idea, didn't write it down, and lost the idea, and then you were like, upset the rest of the day because you couldn't remember what it is. You lost it. So So this is so the point is this is meant to be a kind of a, we say, a cure-all. They're presenting it like it's a cure-all. That means something that can solve any problem. Cure-all. It can help us remember, it can help us understand, it can help us interact. Um, well, we're going to get a little bit more background because this is one of the guys involved in the project. So, Shell, why don't you take this next two short paragraphs here?
Actually, it isn't the beginning. This stuff has been around for over a decade. In my former roles as a cognitive scientist and vice president of technology at Apple, and now as a management consultant in product design, I visit research laboratories at companies and universities all over the world. I've experienced many of these devices. I've worn virtual reality goggles that had me wandering through complex computerized maze, rooms, and city streets, as well as augmented realities where the real world was overlaid with information. And yes, I've worn Google Glass. Unlike immersive displays that capture your full attention, glass is deliberately designed to be inconspicuous and non-distracting. The display
Inconspicuous.
inconspicuous
Y-
and
in-
non-distracting.
Sorry, just one thing. It's the k e u.
C-
Inconspicuous. Yes.
Conspicuous.
It's
Okay,
difficult.
inconspicuous
Good. Good.
and non-distracting. The display is only in the upper right of the visual field, the goal being to avoid diverting the user's attention and to provide relevant supplementary information only when needed.
So now we get to know a little bit more about augmented reality. What do you think? So according to this, what do we know about augmented reality, Shell, now that we didn't know in the beginning? Is it distracting according to the author?
No, it's non-distracting, and also the the augmented reality, as I read this, gives more information about anything, almost anything, and with that information, it actually can make a person, an individual, more. Um, it can help him or her almost in everything that he needed.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. It can, if you're not sure whether to say him or her, you can just say people. It can help them
Yeah,
in any way,
them.
right? Just
Yes,
say, just
correct.
make it plural. Yeah, you're right.
All right.
The real world was overlaid with information. Overlaid. That means that information about pretty much anything was there in front of your field of vision, right in front of you, overlaid in front of. Um, so it sounds like it's not as scary as I thought, because it's only in the upper right side. Um, so it's not that you have to see through the computer screen. I've never tried it. I've seen it on YouTube or whatever, but that's about it. Um, let's talk about some of the problems, though. So Yuki, why don't you take these next two, and we'll talk about the other side of the paradox now.
Even so, the risk of distracting the user is significant, and once Google allows third-party developers to provide applications, it loses control over the ways in which these will be used. Sebastian Turan, who was in charge of Google's experimental projects when Glass was conceived, told me that while he was on the project, he insisted that Glass provide only limited email functionality, not a full email system. Well, now that outside developers have their hands on it. Guess what one of the first things they did with it was? Yo,
Yep.
yep, full email.
Keep
It's a
going.
great, it's a great myth that people can multitask without any loss in the quality of their work. Numerous psychology experiments show that when two relative, relatively complex tasks are done at the same time, performance deteriorates measure, measurably. Some of these experiments were done by me back when I was a practicing cognitive scientist. David Steyer, whose research group at the University of Utah, uh,
Utah.
Utah, have studied these issues for decades, has shown that hands-free phones are just as distracting as handheld ones, and using one while driving is just as bad as driving while drunk.
Driving. Right, driving. Oh, and using the phone, using a handheld device is just as
Yes,
bad as driving. There's a great film. Well, not a great film because it's difficult to watch, but there's a public service film by Werner Herzog all about texting and driving, which is full of devastating stories about the results of losing your concentration when you're driving. Um, I can put a link into it, link into the chat window if you want to see it. You can see it on YouTube, I think. So, so this is all about third party. What
mhm.
happens? What happened when they opened up to third party? What was the unexpected result when they opened up to
Uh,
third party developers?
uh, First time Google Glass has been uh, um, has been not released, has been uh,
We just say
first time. First,
opened.
yes, unexpectedly, Google Glass uh, only provide only limited function. Uh, but at the same time, it but it but it's still it's still dangerous to use it. Mm, uh, yes, it is very difficult to even using Google Glass quite that is quite inconspicuous device. It also still exists. It still dangers exist. So it provides only limited function, and but but it still you
Still,
still you if you want to use complex if you want to do complex task uh, of, in this device, it accompany the risk accom, ac-
companies?
accompany. Yes,
Well, the surprising thing is that the third party developers took control. I think that's what he's trying to say. Google had limited functionality, like you said,
yes,
to not distract people.
yes,
The third party developers said, oh, we want to make applications that people really want to use, so they took control over the device because suddenly you could do everything with email, which means your attention will be on the email and not on what you're looking at in front of you,
yes, yes,
right? So,
yes. So
so that's the first. They lost control.
the first aim of Google Glass was everything you can do while you are doing something at the same time. But in reality, it's quite dangerous to use Google Glass, uh, mm, even for limited tasks. For example, while you driving a car, at the same you use when you driving car wearing Google Glass, it's quite dangerous, as if you are drunk.
Just as distracting, according to actual
Yes.
studies. They've done this. Well, I'm going to skip ahead in the article. You can read the rest, but I grayed out some of the text because it's just details. But he goes on to talk about the actual augmented reality part, what he calls just-in-time information. And he makes the point that just-in-time information seems wonderful because you've got information that would not normally be available to you unless you went to look for it. It's just right in front of you. But as he says, we will lose engagement with the real world. We will stop interacting with the real world and start interacting only with information. So we're going to talk about he's going to go on to talk about that. He gives an example of going to his children's or a children's play in grade school, and all the parents are videotaping their children with a video camera rather than just being in the moment and enjoying the performance, enjoying watching their kids. So it's this paradox where to enjoy something, you have to remove yourself from it. You have to let the technology interfere. So we're going to look at one of those paradoxes. Let's see. Shadow, you're popping in and out. Is everything okay? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm okay now.
Okay. So let's look at that issue about losing what he calls losing engagement with the real world. So this paragraph, I don't know the page, but where it says the flip side.
Flip side, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, read. I didn't find it. So I'm gonna read from the sharing screen, okay?
It's on the bottom of page 11, and then it continues to the top of 12.
Okay. There is a flip side. There is a flip side to this argument, however. It is that when implemented and used mindfully, wearable technology can enhance our abilities significantly. That Turner, a wearable computer champion who has worn these devices for almost quarter century and was a technical advisor to Google Glass, sent me comments on an early draft of this article. I'm very bad at multitasking. He said, nothing that when he attends a lecture by putting the physical focus of the display at the tips of the blackboard and having a fast text entry method. I could steadily both pay attention and take good notes. He did far better than he could with paper and pencil, which forced his attention to shift from notebook to blackboard. He then reminded me of a conversation we had on this topic in 2002. I didn't remember the conversation, so he described the interaction, reminding me of both his comments and my responses.
Actually, continue because we should see this example before we talk about it.
How can Turner remember the details of a conversation from more than 10 years ago? He takes notes during his conversation, one hand in his pocket, typing away on a special keyboard. The result is that during any interaction, he is far more focused and attentive than many of my non-computer wearing colleagues. The act of taking notes forces him to concentrate upon the content of the interaction. Moreover, he has records of his interactions. Teacher, what's the meaning of interactions?
Let's ask our colleagues. Colleagues? What's the interaction in this context? Can you think of a simple word to replace it with? Colleagues.
Communication.
Conversation.
Conversation, communication. Yeah, those sound good to me. So we're talking about social interactions, interactions with other people.
Oh, okay. So he recorded all of his interaction.
Yep.
He is awkward, allowing him to review what took place, which is how he remembered our decade-old conversation.
And then if you want, there's links there to that conversation that he had. So Shadow, what did he do? What does he do? He doesn't record it with a video camera. What's his trick to remember important conversations, important interactions? Is that clear?
Yeah, he took notes.
How did he take notes?
He said one hand in his pocket, taping
Right.
on a special keyboard.
So it's taking notes, but he never. So here's my question for you. In both examples we saw, this guy who's bad at multitasking and knows that multitasking is distracting, he came up with a solution in both cases. So what do you think? How can we summarize this solution to stop people from being distracted? Because I think that there are two aspects of the same thing. Do you want to try to give the gist? What's the solution that it comes up with to help people not be distracted? I don't know
I
if the
don't know.
question is very clear, but well, let's go back to the first one. What was the trick that allowed him to stay fully focused on the lecture and take good notes at the same time? What was the trick that he found? Let's help her out. What do you think?
He one of the good way to prevent distraction is taking note.
But what was
using
his
special
what was his
keyboard.
innovation, though? What was his innovation with taking notes?
Yes, taking notes. For him, using special keyboard in the pocket.
Yeah, but in the lecture, what was his innovation? What was his innovation?
Innovation is he he think it is better to use keyboard computer than using paper and pencil.
No, that's not it.
No?
That's not it. No. Take a look at this paragraph again. By the way, Adi Shell, do you remember? What was the little trick that it came up with that solved the problem of taking notes in a lecture? Did either of you get it?
No, teacher.
Well,
No?
it says there that
Yeah,
he
go ahead.
put the physical focus.
Yeah.
He was
That's it.
physical focus of the display. So it's more on being mindful and doing something or getting it physically.
Okay. So in your own words, what did he do? In summary, what did he do? Normally, you'd have to look at a paper and then look at the whiteboard or the blackboard. You have to jump back and forth. So how did he solve the problem, Shell?
He looked at the blackboard and he was able to have a fast text entry method. So he concentrated on that task.
Did he have to look away
It
from the
allowed him.
blackboard ever? Did he ever have to
Well,
look away?
he actually can. It's just that at
But
that time that
But does he have to? Does he have to look away to take notes? Yes or no? No.
No.
Does he have the same thing with the pocket keyboard? Does he have to look
Yes.
away to take notes during a conversation with the pocket keyboard?
No.
No, that's his solution. He realized that multitasking is only a problem if you have to look away. If you have to literally divide your attention between two things. So this Google Glass engineer tried to design it so that you never have to look away, and it integrates the technology with your field of vision. Or with the pocket calculator, that was a simple pocket keyboard, as Yuki was describing. That's a simple trick that if you have the right keyboard, you can take notes and never leave the conversation. So at least they were conscious of this problem of losing your focus, uh, and the dangers that might occur if you do. Okay, so that's the trick that he came up with, and it goes on to talk about with the right approach. So this is the flip side of what I was describing before about the parents videotaping their kids and not really participating in the performance. He's saying with the right approach, the continued distraction of multiple tasks exerts a toll. It takes time to switch tasks to get back to what attention theorists call situation awareness. Interruption disrupt the performance, and even a voluntary switching of attention from one task to another is an interruption. There's a famous experiment. I don't know if you've seen this, but you can surely see it on YouTube for app. I'm 100% certain. I don't remember the name of it, but if you Google for situational awareness, you'll see a very famous experiment where people are watching a basketball game, and they're given simple instructions. Keep your eye on the ball and tell me who's in control of the ball throughout this 2-minute basketball game. And so everyone watches the ball. After the game is over, after 2 minutes, they say to the volunteers, did you see anything strange? And they all say, most of them, a great majority of them say, no, it went to person B, then person A, then person C. What they miss is that in the middle of the basketball game, I wish I could show you this video actually. In the middle of the basketball game, a guy wearing a suit, a gorilla suit, dressed like a big monkey, walks into the basketball court, starts to play basketball with them, but he never puts his hand on the ball. And nobody notices. Nobody sees
Nobody
it.
noticed.
Something like 9 out of 10 people don't see it. And if you watch the video, we see it immediately because we're not looking at the ball. And it's no trick. It's called situational awareness. So it's one of the experiments that they're talking about here.
Because audience only pay attention to the ball. Yeah?
Exactly.
To a ball.
So now you know a little bit about both sides of the argument. Well, what do you think? Do you think that oh, actually, there's one more thing I was going to look at here. Hang on a second. One more. I want to talk a little bit more broadly, not just about Google Glass. So let's see. How much? Okay, actually, we're almost done the article. So let me just bring up one more thing here. Adi, let's go back to you for these little paragraphs here, where it talks about some other technology.
Okay. Eventually, we will be able to eavesdrop on both our own internal states and those of others. Tiny sensors and clever software will infer emotion and mental states. Worse, the
Inferences.
inferences inferences will often be
Inferences.
wrong.
First syllable.
In
Inferences.
inferences
Will.
inferences will often be wrong. Many factors could cause a person's pulse rate to go up or skin conduct to change, but technologists are apt to focus upon a single interpretation. Is this what we want? People staring blankly and real world is dear virtual minder. Tell them what is happening. We are entering unknown territory. And much of what is being done is happening simply because it can be done.
Okay. And, well, we've just got a few paragraphs here, so let's go back to, I think, who's next? Yuki was probably next in line, so let's go back to Yuki for these here.
In the end, either wearable technologies will be able to augment our experience and focus on our attention on a current task and the people with whom we are interacting, or they will distract us, diverting our attention through tasty most, most
Morsels.
morsels of information that are irrelevant to the current activity. When technologies are used to supplement our activities, when the additional information being provided is of direct relevance, our attention can become more highly focused and our understanding and retention enhanced. When the additional information is off target, no matter how enticing it is, that distracting and disruptive side.
All right, that's the distractive and disruptive side. And then there's a paragraph here, which I'm not going to go into, but it ends with, will the continual stream of messages from wearable devices prove to be irresistible, diverting me from my work, or will they simply amplify my abilities? Shell, why don't you finish it up for us? We just have this little bit.
A standard response is to put the burden on the individual. It is our responsibility to use technology responsibly. I agree in theory but not in practice. I know all too well the temptations of distraction, all that fascinating news, all those friends who send me status reports and wish me to respond with my own. I find it easy to succumb anything to avoid the difficult, dreary concentration required to accomplish anything of value. I've often had to unplug my computer from the internet to complete my work. The providers of these technologies must share the burden of responsible design. Can wearable devices be helpful? Absolutely. Sorry, but they can also be horrid. It all depends upon whether we use them to focus and augment our activities or to distract. It is up to us, and up to those who create these new wearable wonders, to decide which it is to be.
All right. So, based on what we've read so far, we focused on the paradoxes. What are some of the paradoxes first? So let's make sure that's clear. What are some of the paradoxes of this new technology? From what you've read, well, mostly from what you've read. Then we can talk about your own experience.
New technology enabled us to do many things at the same time. So for example, using Google Glasses, you can check email, eating, having dinner, for example. But it distracts your attention. It disturbs your attention.
It
And
distracts you. It distracts you.
it distracts you. It's an undesirable problem. Only there is a possibility to by doing many things at the same time, your ability would be enhanced. So it is a new possibility, but still it is very difficult to solve the problem with new technology. only people has a great expectation to do anything at the same time. So there is a two sides. People's demand to do to do anything, many things at the same time, and limited of technology. Such a
So,
kind, no?
yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. So the paradox is people want to do many
Paradox, yes.
things. The
Yes.
paradox, people want to do many things, but there's this issue of being distracted. And Adi, based on what you read, who's responsible? Who's responsible for um, using the technology without distraction, for not letting it get in the way? Who's responsible, the user or the producer of the technology?
Based on what I've read, it is the responsible uh, the producers because they can design the what people actually needs based on their experience.
So you're saying the producers are responsible, not the
Yeah,
consumers.
yeah, yeah. Because the customer can be distract this from
Distracted.
distracted from the device that they made. So it is their responsibility to make another device uh, uh, that can make people more easier to
That
use
can make
and
people, or you could say that could be easier to use.
easier to use. Yes.
Not make people, but make the device. So the device could be easier to use. Okay, and we saw an example with email where the producers actually made it more complicated to use because when the third parties took over to develop the email applications, they increased the functionality, which meant the user would be even more distracted. So the problem is that the producers are not, at least not yet, taking that into consideration, not all of them. Um, so, Shell, how do you think we could keep the producers thinking in terms of safety, and how could we keep them developing things in a way that will not be distracting? Or do you think it's not really up to the producers? What do you think?
Well, a well-defined research can benefit the producers in creating the device or in coming up with upgrades of the device. However, I also believe that even when they offer all these things, it's really up to us to balance or to use whatever we need and to avoid the things that would later on mm, not help us.
Uh-huh. Things that would get in the way. Well, I want you all to hold that thought for a minute. I'm going to start the second hour of the class. We're going to continue our discussion, and we're going to talk about the trend, whether the trend is catching on with wearable technology, and the controversy. The mayor of New York recently said that police need to have wearable technology because it's in the public interest, in particular related to high-profile killings. And he said that the solution to these racially charged killings by the police, by the way, not by individuals, could be solved with wearable technology. So we're going to look at both sides in just a minute. So I'll be back in a minute to start the next half. Stick around. See you in just a moment. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye.
Bye for now.